My name is David Madison, the 2nd of October 2021. A few weeks ago, my new book was published on Amazon, 10 Things Christians Wish Jesus Hadn't Taught, and Other Reasons to Question His Words. So now I'm doing a series of videos to accompany the book. This is episode 11. By the way, the book's website is www.badthingsjesustaught.com. There you will find the full table of contents. The book is written in a conversational style on purpose to engage the reader, as if we were sitting face to face discussing this awkward topic. Jesus quotes that many Christians just don't agree with. In fact, if they heard these words from anyone else, they would say, "No, that can't be right," or even, "No way." I designed the book to be read in just 1 or 2 sittings. In the previous episodes, I discussed the first 9 things that Christians wish Jesus hadn't taught. Now we come to number 10, Jesus preaching about the end time. Some Christians play the game of predicting an exact day when Jesus will return. They pick a date and then have to make excuses why Jesus didn't show up. This has happened so many times for hundreds of years. The devout folks who do this are right about one thing and very wrong about another. At his trial, as reported in Mark's Gospel, Jesus tells those present that they would see him coming on the clouds of heaven. Especially as Jesus is presented in Mark's Gospel, he preached urgently for people to repent and to be ready for the arrival of the kingdom. But the Gospels are confused about this. Matthew, Luke, and John were written after Mark, John much later, and the right-away expectation of the arrival of Jesus seems to have faded as the gospel writing process went along. I discuss this evolution in thinking in the 10th chapter of my book. But the modern folks who are so darn sure that Jesus will return, well, that's right there in the New Testament. In fact, we can credit this intense expectation to the Apostle Paul, who promised in his letter to the Thessalonians that dead Christians would rise from their graves to meet Jesus in the air and would be with him forever. But the folks who are on the lookout for Jesus are also very wrong. They're mistaken about the timing. Paul told the Thessalonians that he would be alive to see the arrival of Jesus on the clouds. There is such urgency in Paul's letters. People need to get ready. It could happen at any moment. And in some of the sayings of Jesus, he tells his listeners that this generation will not pass away before these things happen. Oh dear, it's pretty clear that Paul and Jesus were just wrong about this. This is one of the major flaws in the New Testament. It's also childish theology. When things get really bad, God will send a hero to rescue us. This theology thrived at the time of Jesus because Israel had for centuries been under the heel of one foreign empire after another. But the rescue never happened. And people who are on the lookout now for Jesus to show up, well, they ignore the New Testament message that it would be soon, back then. We know this was the Apostle Paul's expectation because of what he wrote in his letters. But it's much, much harder to know for sure what Jesus said. In fact, there are big problems figuring out what Jesus actually said. In the 11th chapter of my book, I discuss the 4 obstacles, a few practical realities that stand between us and the authentic words of Jesus. So if you've looked over the 10 categories of things you wish Jesus hadn't said, there might be an escape. Maybe Jesus didn't say them after all. And we'll look at that issue in the next video.